Listen, I don't know what's bothering me more, the direction in which Tiff is headed in or the direction of Bakari's hairline. Either way, it's all some bull, okay? Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel Reviewed, where we talk about all things television and film from today and yesteryear. So I wanted to come on here and give a brief recap on the recent episode of The Shy. Let's get to it. The episode picks up where it left off last week with the detective asking Bakari about Nuck's whereabouts. And she is pretty much letting Bakari know, hey, either you gonna give me the information, but if I got to go digging around for it and it leads me back to you, it's gonna be a problem for you. Okay. And I have to say, I was not bothered at all about Bakari's response. He answered the question by letting her know, I'm not the one that you need to be talking to.
You make me work for it, I won't be happy when I get back.
Somebody took him out.
Was it you? You can either confess or I can come back with a warrant.
Go ask his girl.
And who was that?
Tiff.
Emmett and Keisha are having a conversation. Their bachelor and bachelorette parties are coming up, and Keisha, right now, she is just not in that headspace where she is looking forward to doing anything because of what happened with Nuck. And Emmett, he is, he's trying to be there for her and just let her know that everything's going to be okay. But at the same time, he's sorry that this is something that she is currently dealing with, but he does understand to a certain extent how she feels. However, he still wants her to be able to enjoy herself. Vic does not see it with Tiff working with Reg, and we know why. And Tiff, she is at the point where, she feels like I'm your boss. You do what I tell you to do. Like, you don't question the deals that I make. It is up to me. And Vic, he knows his brother, and he knows that his brother is grimy and he is up to no good. But Tiff is going to have to figure that out on her own.
You clearly pissed about something.
I don't want you working with Reg.
What you and your brother got going on, they got nothing to do with me.
You'd love a toxic nigga.
You need to respect me.
Respect has to be earned.
I'm your boss.
I thought we were friends.
So your ego can't take a woman being in charge.
No, you want me to be something I'm not.
I just want you to protect me.
I cannot protect you from Reg.
I'm not scared of him.
So we get a moment where Shad is at the youth center with Devontae and the other kids. And a conversation about jail comes up. I think the kids refer to themselves as being in jail because they can't have their cell phones, and they're not able to do what they want to do. And Shad lets them know, hey, I've been to jail. It ain't nothing to play with. You know what I'm saying? Like, having your freedom does not equate to being able to have a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? So the boys, Patient's son, he shares the story about how his dad was locked up for a crime he didn't even commit. And, Shot was like, a lot of guys that have, that happens to a lot of guys. And so Devontae was like, well, what you went to jail for? And he said, you know, for robbery. And they was like, what you do? He was like, well, I don't need to get into all that, but just know that, the path that I took and, the path that a lot of guys take, you don't necessarily have to go down that route. And of course, the other kid, he talks about how his dad, is a street dude. And, Shad also lets him know, hey, you don't have to follow in your dad's footsteps if that's not a lifestyle that you want to lead. So we got to kind of see an introduction to Shad being somewhat of a mentor to these kids. Reggie is in his feelings and his girlfriend is not necessarily here for it. Okay. So she gets home and she sees him, he's smoking and he's sulking. And she is like, what's going on with you? And, she's asking him a couple of questions, because she was like, you haven't said anything since you've been home. And of course, Reg, being who he is, he was like, why are you asking me all these questions? This is why I don't like being with one, in a relationship with one woman. And so she was like, so you cheating on me? And he was like, nah. And she was like, well, what's going on? And he, opens up and he tells her that he misses his brothers. He has a moment where he is vulnerable, okay? And he basically tells her that he knows that where he is right now with his brothers, he just does not want to be there anymore. And she kind of lets him know, hey, if you want things to change between you and your brothers, then you're going to have to put forth an effort to change, because you can't come to the doorstep carrying the same dirty load. You know what I'm saying? And I like the fact that, again, even though I don't like Bridge, we are starting to see softer sides of him. And him having a moment with his lady, and her basically letting him know that I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? So I did like the moment that they had together.
Well, if you're not willing to change, you can't be mad when people leave you.
But we blood. That's all that matters.
Blood is not enough. You gotta show up different if you want people to see you differently.
I hate this shit.
What? Growth?
Just emotions and talking and shit.
It's called being an adult.
I don't like it.
Bakari meets up with his sister, and his sister is kind of drilling him like, why would you tell the detective about Tiff? Like, Tiff gonna have you popped. And Bakari's like, I'm not about to take the rap for something that I did not do. And his sister's like, yeah, but you can't be around here telling this and that and the third. And I'm thinking to myself, ma'am, you snitched. Okay, like, girl, hush. But anyway, we finally get to see Bakari have his aha moment where he is like, he's really ready to leave Chicago. He says to his sister that he's tired of running, and she says that she is as well. We also see later on in the episode where Bakari meets up with Lene, and he tells Lene that he's moving to Atlanta with his sister, and he asks her to come with them. You know what I'm saying? And Lene, first thing she was like, you got a job? I was like, yes, honey, she my type of girl. And Bakari's like, nah, but I'm gonna make sure that's handled when I get there. And she does agree to go. I just hope that they actually get to leave and that nothing happens to Bakari. We get to Emmett's bachelor party, and I have to say, it seems like Keisha and Emmett's wedding has been completely sped up. Okay, granted, they've been together for quite some time, but it just seems like everything is happening so fast. So the guys are, talking, and they're having a conversation, and they ask Vic, has he ever considered, getting married and settling down? And Vic was like, yeah, I'm ready to settle down now. I just don't know with whom. And, Darnell, he was like, well, I'm the old head. So, as long as y'all ain't around here having no more kids out of wedlock, it is what it is. Well, we just don't want no more baby mamas running around here. And, Emmett says to him, he was like, well, Dad, I ain't found out about my brother until last year, just talking. And Sean, he talks about his relationship with Patience and how they are getting serious, and that he kind of looks forward to the moment where Patience and his son and himself can be under one roof. And the guy's like, oh, really, you ready for something like that? And he was like, yeah, I think I am. And they are having a conversation about just the relationships in general with women, and being able to trust and having that someone to confide in. And so Emmett gets up to go get his drink refilled, and in that moment we learn that he is still a little bothered about the fact that he is not able to share with Keisha the whole situation that happened with Nug.
You good? If you don't tell Keisha the truth about Nuck, I will. Just wait till after the wedding. I don't want no secrets between us before we get married. You trying to blow your own shit up? I want to be honest. Rob didn't deserve to die. Nuck did was fucked up. But neither did he. Better just believe Bakari did it, bro. That's not cool. He agreed to it. Yeah, because he's scared.
We get to Keisha's bachelorette party, which was thrown by Tiff, of course. And honey, the ladies are having a time. It's this whole spa theme. And we even got to see Jada's ex fling, okay, the young man that she had a brief romance with. Okay, he was one of the masseuses at the party. So Darnell hires an exotic magician for Emmett's bachelor party. And listen, honey, when I tell you, ma'am had plenty of tricks up her sleeve, she did indeed. Okay, I ain't gonna hold you. She was doing some fly magic tricks, but baby, the biggest trick of them all were the men. Okay, because she abracadabras Emmett watch right off his wrist. Listen, Emmett did not know what to do with himself when he realized that that watch was missing. Okay, the same watch that Keisha proposed to him with was gone. And when he got home that night, and Keisha realized that he did not have that watch on his wrist, he could not do anything but tell her the truth. And not only did this chick snatch his watch, Darnell made it seem like he knew who the girl was, and kind of find out he got her off of IG. Like she was a whole IG magician, and they could not contact her. Like he was like, I tried to call her a couple times, but she ain't picking up, or I guess her phone, she done changed the phone number that quick. Like she literally set them up, and it was hilarious to see. So back at Keisha's bachelorette party, honey, the ladies are having dinner and they are having a conversation about what relationships, partnerships, and potential marriage would look like for them individually. Zuri, she says that sometimes she loves being in a relationship and sometimes she just likes to be single. And the manager of Smokey, she says she want an open marriage and she want a whole bunch of kids. And Keisha, she just says, that she knows that being someone's wife and being a parent, she said it's a lot of responsibility that comes along with that. So, again, the women, they're just sharing their thoughts about relationships, and then the conversation goes a little left.
I miss being partnered.
I bet you do.
Every time I try to be single, niggas start popping up. First it was Smitty, now it's my baby dad.
I'm dating Smitty.
Make sure he don't smack you.
Well, if he did, then we'll just take his ass out.
Ain't nothing wrong with taking a nigga out sometimes.
I'm just wondering when Keisha is going to put two and two together. Okay. Because when Tiff said, it ain't nothing wrong with taking somebody out, sometime. I'm like, girl, I'm going to need Tiff to utilize her free right to shut the F up. Like, she really needs to be on mute a lot of the times. Okay. Nonetheless, we get this moment at the bachelorette party where Keisha, she tells Tiff that she's having a good time and she's thankful that she threw the bachelorette party for her. She's very appreciative. And then we get to this moment here where they, each of the ladies hand Keisha a flower. And so Tiff, she gives this heartfelt speech where she says that, there was a moment in time when she was very jealous of Keisha. She said because of the way Emmett treated her. She was like, Emmett doted on you in a way that he never did me. He always treated you differently. And she said, I had to realize that that's because he was for you. He wasn't for me. And Tip was like, y'all baby needed to be in this world. And that's why y'all are together. Y'all are meant for each other, this and that and the third. And then we get a moment where Keisha tells Tiff, like you're like my sister. I really appreciate you. I never thought that, we would be here. And I'm just glad that I had somebody in my corner who I could trust. And I'm thinking to myself, and Tiff is looking at her like, girl, you have no idea. And I'm like, Keisha, you really don't. Like, this whole situation is just a mess. Like, it's crazy. Vic gets a phone call that their mom OD'd. Okay. And I have to say, I was not expecting the mom's death to be the thing that could potentially bring Vic, Reg, and Jake back together. I forgot that, she was an addict. The last time that we saw her, I think it was Mother's Day episode, and it was her and all her, her and her kids together having dinner. So when Vic got that phone call, I was like, okay, so is this what is going to, bring them back to their brotherhood? We've already seen Reg tell Shad that he missed his brothers, had them reach out to him. We just saw the conversation he had with his girlfriend. And so now here we are.
You told Jake? Nah. Just thinking we tell them together. Can't do it. We have to. You do it. I need you to be a man right now.
I'm more of a man than you.
Waving the gun around will make you a man.
So Vic and Reg let Jake know about their mom. And Jake is not here for Reg at all. Let's not forget the last conversation they had when, Reg told Jake, I don't care about you. I don't care nothing about Vic. it's like F all y'all. You know what I'm saying? And that stuck with him. And I said that look on his face, I was wondering if that right there was it for him. Like he wanted to wash his hands of any dealings with his brother. And now, you know, it doesn't seem at the moment that there is hope for them, at least not Reggie and Jake. Darnell and Riley, aka Minnie the Moocher, are having a conversation about what Darnell has decided to do with his home. He tells Riley that he wants to give the home to Rashad. Okay, now let's rewind a bit. So, back at the bachelor party, Darnell and Shad, they have a conversation in the bathroom. Darnell tells him that in the beginning, the relationship between he and Riley was a relationship of convenience. You know, they were both dealing with grief. And so he didn't think that there would be much to it. However, things have developed and now he's in love again. And, he was like, which surprised him because he just did not think that he would be able to do so. And so, Shad tells him, well, congratulations, man. I'm glad you made room in your heart to be able to love someone. And then they have a conversation about Shad and, his feelings for Patience and him wanting to, progress in their relationship by, them living together. And I think that was the moment where Darnell decided that Shad would be the perfect person to give his home to because, Shad, he does say that, it's kind of hard to get really serious with someone when you're living with other people. I don't have my own space. And so now he will have the opportunity to do that because Minnie the Moocher put it in Darnell's mind to, give his home to someone who needed it. And so Shad will be the recipient of said home. We also get to see Riley offer Shad a job because, again, he is doing such a good job with those kids. And she ends up offering him a position at the youth center.
You are great with them.
Well, they're good kids.
Mm-hmm. You should consider counseling here full time.
I mean, that'd be nice.
There's a paid position open, if you're interested.
Hell yeah, I'm with it.
Okay, now it's not always fun and games. These boys have been through some shit.
I put in the work.
Bakari goes to see Reg to take Reg the money that he owes, and he lets Reg know that he's out. He was like, this is the last time I'm dropping money off for you. I'm not selling nothing else for you. It is what it is. And Reg was like, okay then. Like, all right, bye. And before Bakari leaves, Bakari says to him, he was like, I'm sorry to hear about your mom. And I guess that kind of caught Reg by surprise. And, Reg was just like, yeah, and he told Bakari, just be careful out there. And Bakari was like, I will be. And he leaves. So it's like Bakari was able to cut all ties with Reg and there are no more strings attached.
Where is he?
I don't know.
I don't believe you.
I don't care.
Was it self-defense?
I'm not talking to you without a lawyer.
Then I suggest you find one.
Tiff is in way over her head. And this is what happens when you make a permanent decision based on temporary feelings. Granted, Nuck got exactly what he deserved. However, Tiff did not think things through. Her response to the information that she received was very impetuous, and her handling of it has been trash. Like, she do not know when to shut up. She should have dug a hole for her alongside that hole she dug for Nuck and put him in. Okay, when that detective popped up and asked Tiff where Nuck was, she should have said, I don't know what you're talking about, went in her house and closed her door. But no, you want to stand there and have someone what of a dialogue with that woman to the point where it ends with you saying you don't want to speak unless you have an attorney present. Like, girl, you literally are about to sail yourself down a river. And honey, I hope you can swim. Emmett and Keisha have a conversation, and she tells him that she is not mad at him anymore about the watch. She said, "You told me the truth from the jump." She said the old Emmett would have lied. And she said, so the fact that you were able to come clean about what really happened, she said, I can't help but to let it go, you know. And she asked Emmett, she said, is there anything else you need to tell me? And he says to her, no. And I was like, this is just not good, because you already know that Emmett is bothered by the fact that he cannot be honest with Keisha about the situation with Nuck and Rob. And it's like, okay, are they even going to make it down the aisle? You know what I'm saying? Like, is all of this information about to come out before the wedding and Keisha's going to call it off? Like, it's just so many layers. The whole thing with Tiff and Keisha. And, you know, it's like Tiff is in so deep right now. I don't know what's going to happen. I just hope that Bakari gets out, untouched. I hope Bakari still has life in his body by the time all of this is over. You know what I'm saying? And who knows, Vic still may cover for Tiff. It's just so many things that could happen. But, you know, the episode ends here between Keisha and Emmett. And I feel sorry for Emmett, because he literally is caught in the middle. And it may not work out in his favor. It may not. But we shall see. We shall see. Well, that's all I have for you guys in this video. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate the support. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.